the last week, as it were, of spring practice, pure spring practice. And like me, you may well have been going out on some really beautiful walks. We're so blessed here in Glasgow with the green. It's like the last few weeks, the leaves on the trees have just opened, unfurled. And I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram, but you might want to. I was waxing a little bit lyrical yesterday about this beautiful soft new green, and how when I actually got out of my head and stopped and looked up the wild track in Queen's Park, how all of this soft new green was just fluttering at me, and the only thing that I could liken it to were feathers. And it was as if all of the trees were like this beautiful flock of birds, just at any moment that could take off. And I had this flight of fancy and imagination, like really fed by the creative spirit and rising energy of springtime itself, to imagine what a cracking and snapping of roots and trunks that would be. And perhaps it would shake all of us out of our dream, like putting your headphones on, going for a walk, staring down at the pavement, feeling perhaps isolated, not connected, and we could all just be caught, something like it said, in the green net of that experience together. And so as we like to garner from the corners of springtime, from the little corners of our day where perhaps we've noticed something or been able to just be truly present, and present in nature, or aware of something that's touched our hearts, let's just invite that into our class tonight. We're just going to start by rubbing into the palms of the hands. Feel free to walk around a little bit. We're just going to, as we've been doing, place one hand over on that right side, over underneath the chest here, as it were, on the ribs, on the liver. I'm turning around so you can see it as the right. And place the other hand on top, and then just invite all of the tension in these tense shoulders just to soften down, almost find a little bit of a soft landing there as they just ease down the back. And with that, we're going to soften off in the ankles, allow the feet to spread, almost as if they're just deepening down into some warm, soft earth. I'm looking over at that door, it's looking suspicious face if it might open any moment. And soften not only through the knees but through the hips, dropping down into that point a couple of finger widths below the navel, chi high. So this sense of earth, soft landing into earth, placing the hands on the liver. You can close your eyes, have them softly open, and just welcome a fresh breath in. And then all together, we're going to take a nice long exhale out. If you've been feeling anxious, as if you're blowing out a candle. If you've been feeling a bit frustrated, all the way out. Lovely. Nice big breath in again. Breathing now into the belly, up into the ribs, up into the chest. Nice long exhale. We'll do one more. Welcoming in that essence of spring. Belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, just letting it go. Wonderful. So remembering what we did last week, as we inhale, the hands come up, come open to the sides, and then ease upwards. So we can breathe into all aspects of the abdomen and the ribs. Exhale, coming all the way down. We'll do that together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, making this the last one, just going with the fluid flow of the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Wonderful. From here, just taking the arms all the way up, interlacing the fingers, exhaling, shoulder blades down the back. Nice inhale as you stretch over to the left. Exhale back to the center. And as we stretch over to the right, we're making sure we feel really rooted through the opposite foot. Exhale back to center. This time, you can take the gaze up or down to the feet, whichever feels more comfortable. Exhale back into center. Inhale, a nice stretch over to the other side. Exhale back into center. And then from here, just coming into an easy forward fold. All the way down, Hands can be down on the mat, hands can be on the legs, whatever feels comfortable, making sure the navel's hugging up, and you're just lengthening the spine down towards the mat. Staying there for an extra breath in. Exhale, lengthening, relaxing the shoulders, letting go of the head. And then next inhale, we're just going to come up into a nice half lift. So popping the hands below the knees on the shins or a little bit above if you need. Lift the sit bones, look up, make a nice L shape with the back. Lovely. And then exhale, soften down again. Do this 2 more times. Inhale, half lift. Exhale. Softening down. Lovely. And then dropping the weight into the feet. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Nice big stretch. Interlacing the fingers. Stretching all the way up into the palms. Exhale, shoulder blades down the back. Nice stretch. Over to the left. Inhale. Exhale to the center. Inhale, stretch to the right. Exhale, nice forward fold again. Peeling down. So we're hinging at the soft crease of the hips. The whole of the spine is lengthening down. The navel hugs up. Wonderful. Inhale, nice half lift. Exhale, popping it down. And again, inhaling, half lift, finding that length. Exhale. So this is very much water inward. Inhaling, unfurling. And so it's very much about the fluid flexibility of the spine. So as you unfurl, be aware of each kind of part of your spine. I'm just going to stretch all the way up. Lovely. And then exhale, drop the shoulders down. Nice stretch over to one side, breathing in. Exhale, back in. Inhale, stretch over to the other side. Exhale, last forward fold. So being aware as you tuck in the chin, you're rounding down through the spine for this one. Vertebra by vertebra, the navel's hugging up, and then inhale, just come into a nice half lift. Now you may be hands now down on the mat, that might feel like a good thing, or still the hands on the legs. Exhale, softening down. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the sit bones, look up, really lift up with bandha. Exhale, softening down, and then dropping the weight into the feet, unfurling all the way up. Last stretch, interlacing the hands, pressing into the feet as you stretch all the way up into the palms, and then soften. It's like you just arrived down in earth. Nice stretch one way, breathing in. Exhale back into the center. Nice stretch over to the other way. Lovely. Exhale. So from here, we're going to step back into horse stance. So taking the feet comfortably, pointing towards the corners of the mat, but again, any hip, knee issues, adjust the angle of the foot so it feels comfortable, and also adjust how deep you go in your hips. Don't go so deep that you can feel it impacting on that joint. Inhaling, scooping the arms up, straightening through the legs. Exhale, deepening down. Inhaling. Exhale. And do one more. Inhaling. Exhale, deepening down. Popping the left hand on the thigh, and we're going to circle from the right over to the left. Inhale, and then exhale, come back round. Let's do that again. So leading with the little finger, inhaling, exhale, coming back round. Last one, a lovely fluid movement, stretching into that right side. Exhale, hand down. Now changing sides. So we're going with the left hand over to the right as we breathe in, and exhale, coming back round. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. Last one. Inhaling. Exhale, coming back into center. Inhaling, taking the arms all the way up, taking hold of the right wrist and sinking down as you exhale. Inhale, stretching over to the left. Exhale, back into the center, and then change wrists. Inhale, stretching right. Exhale. Lovely. Taking the hands behind the head, sinking down. Inhale, I'm going to lean. Notice in leaning, I'm not turning to look. I'm leaning, so the left elbow lowers down. Exhale, I'm going to come back up. Do the same on the other side. Inhale, leaning over to the right. Exhale. Wonderful. From here, scooping all the way back up. Exhale, easing down off. We'll do one more. Inhaling. Exhale, coming down into horse stance. So then from here, just turning towards the front edge of the mat, reaching forward, wiggling that back foot away, sliding back, and then from here, we're just going to pop the knees down, and lower down a little bit as we exhale. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, tucking the toes, downward facing dog on the exhale. So in downward dog, my top's totally in the way. What I want you to do is really bend the knees. Draw those sit bones as far away from the wrists as we can. And you may need to step your feet in just an inch or two closer to the hands, keeping them still hip width. Inhale, rolling up through the soles of the feet, lifting the heels. Exhale, bending one knee as you stretch the other heel down towards the mat. Inhale, rolling that heel up. Exhale, stretching the other leg down as you bend the opposite knee. So let's keep on with that. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, one heel down. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, other heel down. Now let's go for both heels down. So inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels down. Just see if you can find the breath. Breathing all the way along the spine, all the way down, softening through the elbows, softening through the shoulders, thinking of the quality of water. So water has this soft fluency, and it's also able to be powerful because it's persistent. So we want to keep inviting softness, fluency, fluidity, flexibility into our downward dog. Now looking towards the hands, stepping forward with whichever foot you need to, so you end up coming back to face me and into horse stance. This time, as we scoop up, the arms come up, and that tail coming down. Scooping up, exhale, coming down. One more, last one, inhale. Exhale, coming back into horse stance. So we're going to lean into this left leg, straighten the right. Inhale, turn to look along that right leg. And as we exhale, just trace down the outside of the leg to the fourth toe. And as we inhale, come up the inside of the leg, up the liver meridian. Exhale, back into horse stance. Inhale, lean into the right leg. Gently straighten that left leg and turn to look down. Exhale, tracing down the outside of the leg, fourth toe. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, back into horse stance. Let's do the same again. Turning on the inhale down that right leg. Exhale, tracing down the gallbladder meridian. Inhale, coming up from in between the big toe, up the inside of the leg, chest to the liver. Exhale, back into horse stance. Leaning into the right knee now, turning as you breathe in. Exhale, down that left leg to the fourth toe, up the inside of the big toe, coming all the way up and back into horse stance. Lovely. Placing the left hand on the thigh. Inhale, just a nice fluid motion with that right hand. One more. Inhaling all the way around. Exhaling back, changing hands. Inhale, nice circle with the left hand. Exhale, coming back. And again, we're leaning with the little hand, the palms facing up, and we're finding that beautiful fluidity of opening into the gallbladder meridian on each side of the body. And then from here, turning over that front foot, wiggling the back foot away, just coming into a little cheeky plank. We're just going to hold plank if we can for a couple of breaths. Please bring the knees down. So with plank, we're really engaging bandha. We're helping that engagement of the front of the core by making sure the shoulder blades are down the back. We're tucking the tail. We're really lifting up with the kneecaps, switching on the quads. So we're lifting up with Uddiyana Bandha. The ribs are drawing down towards the navel. Everything's drawing in towards the navel and the center line of the abdomen. Then popping the knees down, hinging back on the exhale into child's pose. And so from here, coming in sort of a moon flow. As we inhale, we lift up with a rounded back, come through all fours. As the shoulders start to pass above the wrists, this is where the shoulder blades draw down the back, the hips carry on moving through, and we lengthen up into the crown of the head, and then take the gaze up. As we exhale, we're moving all the way back with the rounded back into child's pose. Make sure that the knees and feet are like tram lines, rather than going into a little V shape, as we traditionally do for child's pose. Inhale, slowly coming forward, keeping the hips lifted, lengthening up into the crown of the head, really moving, using your core. Exhale, navel hugging back, really gently and steadily drawing you back. We'll do one more. Nice long inhale, all the way up. Lovely. And all the way back. Wonderful. So the next time, coming into upward dog, and then from upward dog, inhaling, coming up, we're going to just tuck our toes, come back to all fours, and on the exhale, coming to downward dog. So choosing if you're walking the dog, walking from side to side, or even dancing the dog, swaying the hips a little bit more, so you can take the gaze underneath each armpit and turn, or holding both heels down. Just allowing the stretch to permeate along the back line of the body. If it's feeling all a bit too much, feel free to come down and rest in child's pose. So you've got the knees wide, the toes touching, the hips back towards the heels, and the head supported. It may be by the mat, it might be by the heels of the hands, something like that. Just keep with that steady rhythm of the breath all the way in and all the way out. Lovely. So from downward facing dog, or if you're in child's pose, making your way up into downward dog, bending at the knees, stepping forward, whichever foot you end up needing to be to come into horse stand. So walking along the long edge of the mat, as you exhale, pop the hands onto the hips, soften the knees. Inhale, coming all the way up and back into horse stands. Inhaling, taking the hands up. Exhale, softening down, taking hold of that right wrist. Inhale, stretching left. Exhale, coming back to the center. Inhale, stretching right. Exhale to the center. Lovely. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Thinking of that fluency of movement. Inhale, right. Exhale, back to center. So we're going to come into Trikonasana, turning the right foot out, drawing that hip back, really feeling as if you're leaning into this back left hip. Rooted through the feet as you stretch up, finding space here and the underside of the ribs. Exhale, keep the ribs or the hips, drawing back as you reach forward, and then place the hand down. So we really want to try and keep this length here on the underside of the torso. Using the top hand, just pop it down around the ribs, navel hugs back as we rotate above the waist, the chest round to face the side, or even almost a sense of gently opening up towards the ceiling, and then allow that opening to extend up into the arm, unfolding the arm bit by bit. Lovely. So feeling rooted and expansive, spring-like. Now let's just make it a little bit more springy. Turning the arm so it's the palms facing down, and just take it overhead to really deepen that stretch into the left side. Breathing with that. Lovely. Looking down at the front foot, bending into the front knee, inhaling, coming all the way up, lifting both arms, lifting that back foot, and turning the feet so they're both pointing towards the lower short edge of the mat. As you drop the back knee, breathe in. Exhale, straighten that back leg. So just go as far as feels comfortable in these lunges. Inhale, dropping the knee. Exhale, stretching away into the heel. One more. Inhaling. Exhale. From here, we're going to come forward, ready for our leg balance. And in previous weeks, I'll just rearrange myself on the mat. For some of us, this is totally fine. For others, we have issues with the hip. It's been a knackering day. What I want you to do is come down, bend the knee enough that you can put the palms down, then pop the knee down and tuck that knee a little bit behind so you can come into kneeling half move. So you're choosing if you're doing it standing or kneeling. I'm queuing up the kneeling one, but I'll then queue up the standing if you need a little bit of guidance. I've been doing it for quite a few weeks now. So we want to make sure that the hand and the knee are feeling in line, the foot's in line, and then we flex the foot and lift it. So you really feel the muscles on the left side of the hip fire up, and then opening into the palm. If you are standing, you start off by lifting the left leg, foot flex, then rotate the instep so it's parallel to the floor. The key here is making sure that that right hip underneath doesn't get pushed back behind you, but keeps drawing down towards the short lower edge of the mat. The same as for Trikonasana, so it balances out that top left hip being stacked on top. And then if it feels comfortable, you can open up into the elbow, the wrist, the palm, tend the gaze to wherever feels comfortable. So with that extended leg, really stretch away into the flexed foot, especially the heel. Rotate the navel back, or kind of draw the navel back and open the chest even more to the side. Well done, everybody. That's looking fantastic. Good. Allow the leg just to come down to the mat, 2/3 of what you would usually have for Trikonasana. Bend into the front knee, come all the way up. So we've got our right foot forward. This left foot is now 2/3 of a leg length and hip width if we need it, because we're going to come into pyramid posture. Inhaling, open across the chest. Exhaling, just popping the hands down and behind. And then inhale, if you're wanting to come into reverse prayer, you have the little fingers against each other, and as you lift up, the shoulders go up, back, and down. And that can really help the palms get a little bit more together. Otherwise, if that feels uncomfortable, holding on to the forearms. So, with this posture, the key aspects, leaning into that back leg, drawing the shoulders back and down. So you're really open into the chest. And then take the gaze up. So it's a beautifully expansive and proud posture where you feel really self-confident, like this is me. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to hinge at the hips. Navel hugging back, gently coming down, softening that front knee, keep drawing that right hip back. So inhale, lengthen through to the crown of the head, through the spine. Exhale, softening it down, really making sure that back leg's nice and strong. We'll do another one. Inhale, lengthening. It's almost like a little hooping caterpillar. You keep drawing the ribs along that thigh to just stretch the spine out a little bit more. Then see how the shoulders are. Does one shoulder feel closer to the floor? Can you make sure they feel balanced? And then gently taking the gaze to the toes. And if that feels okay, tuck in the chin and allow the whole of the back, from the tailbone all through the back of the neck, to lengthen and open and feel that beautiful stretch. Breathing into that. And so when we breathe in and open into the back line of the body, it's extremely calming. We're working with the bladder meridian that starts at the inner corner of the eye and then runs over the crown of the head and down either side of the spine, down the back of each leg. And so essentially we're wanting to really get that lovely opening and stretch. And then from here, just bringing the hands forward, sliding that back foot further away, popping that foot back, coming into a little plank. So holding plank, nice long breath in, really lifting up, pop the knees down if you need, finding the body nice and long, really drawing up with the soft front of the body into the hard outer shell of the back of the body. And then popping the feet down, slowly coming back on the exhale into child's pose. Feet and knees hip width. So let's come into a little moon flow. Nice rounded back, tucked chin, and then starting to draw those shoulder blades down the back and unfurl like a speeded up stop motion photography of a little fern unfurling, taking the gaze all the way up. And then exhale, really engaging the core, moving from the navel all the way back into child's pose. We'll do one more. Nice, steady, slow, curving, fluid movement all the way to up dog. And then from here, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. So bending at the knees, stepping forward with the right foot, walking hand over hand. We're just going to do that lovely stretch for the liver meridian. As we ease into one knee, we make sure the foot's at 45 degrees. And as we stretch the inside of the opposite leg, the toes are pointing directly towards the long edge of the mat, so at a right angle. Lovely. And then from here, just walk hand over hand to the top of the edge of the mat and come all the way up, actually back into horse stance. Sorry, the side of the mat, I didn't quite get that right. Lovely. So from here, taking the arms all the way up and just popping them behind the head. Exhale, sinking down. Inhale, leaning left. Exhale, center. And then from here, inhale, leaning right. Exhale, we'll do another one. Inhale, soft and flowing, no real hardness. It's really using the core and allowing the stretch to be soft. Wonderful. From here, coming into Trikonasana. So reaching up with that left hand now, left foot forward, drawing back with that left hip. So we're leaning into that back right hip, reaching forward and then popping the hand down. Right hand wrapping round the ribs, navel hugging back. That's it, guys. Well done. Opening all the way up. So don't rush it. almost imagine that we're each a little seedling, just needing to unfurl. You know, we never unfurl in a kind of a straight direction. There's always a little bit of fluidity, fluency that's needed to really nurture so the seedling is strong. So the gaze is coming up, we're feeling rooted through the feet. We've got this beautiful opening here of the top part of the body, around the hips, the chest. And then we're just going to take the arm overhead, turn the gaze to the downturned palm, feel rooted down the outer edge of that back foot and breathe. Wonderful. Bending into the front knee, take the gaze to look at the front toes. Inhaling, lifting both arms up, lift that back heel, change the feet so they're pointing towards the top edge of the mat. So dropping the knee. Exhale, stretching into that back heel. Inhale, drop. Exhale, shoulders down the back. Inhale, dropping the knee. Exhale. And then from here, reaching forward, getting ready for your leg balance, or hands flat, popping down into kneeling half moon. So choosing what feels right. Really stretching away into the lifted heel of the flexed foot. This right foot's flexed, and it creates this anchor point in midair. The navel's engaged. You're opening the arm up if you wish to do that. If it's easier for you with the standing posture, you can keep the hands down on the mat. When you're opening that arm, see if you can open it like a leaf unfurling. Don't fling it from the elbow, from the shoulder joint. And if you flung it from the shoulder joint, see if you can drop it down, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then move. As you're opening it up, keep the elbow bent, and then the last bit of the hand can unfurl. Lovely. From here, popping the hands down. If you're kneeling, you're going to come up to standing for pyramid posture. So, leaning into the back right foot now. Inhale, open across the chest. Exhale, just tucking the hands behind, rounding the back. And then inhale, lifting the chest, shoulders go up, back, and down, leaning into the back right foot, and then hinging at the hips as you come forward with that beautiful open chest. So we're not leading with the head cowed in, we're leading with that beautiful open chest and collarbones. And then inhale, soften that left knee a little bit. Exhale, see if you can come to rest down on that knee shelf or get a little closer. Inhale, lengthen along it. Exhale, keep drawing that left hip back, lowering down on the exhale. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, just coming to a light and soften. If it feels okay, you're going to take the gaze to the toes and then tuck in the head. So you really feel this back of the neck getting a lovely, enjoyable and well-deserved lengthening. It's so important to make sure that all aspects of the spine have a fluency and openness. What can happen, we can get a lot of migraines simply from our posture, freezing up in the back of the neck. If we're doing a lot of, laptop, computer-based work. So wherever you can in your day, just moving through the head, the neck, into the upper back is excellent for really helping that. So from here, we're just going to bring the hands down, bend into that front knee a little bit, wiggle that back foot away, slide that front foot back, and lower down from plank, all the way down. Oh, wonderful. Take the head to the side, and just pop the hands underneath the head and rock the hips from side to side a little bit. So we're just going to come into a little mini cobra. Have the hands underneath the shoulders, shoulder width apart. Sorry, have the elbows when I can speak properly. And then from here, gently tuck the tail. See if you can lift the navel off the mat. Press into the elbows. So Sphinx is the first option. Shoulder blades down the back, lengthening up into the crown of the head, then taking the gaze ahead. Lovely. To go deeper into Cobra is to press into the hands and lift the body a little higher so the elbows come off the mat. Make sure you're rolling onto the tops of the knees. You're not allowing the legs just to sort of kind of fall out to the sides, but you're resting on the tops of the big toes as well. Breathing into that. Lovely. Exhale, just release down, hands under the shoulders, hinging at the hips, coming back into child's pose. And then from here, slow, soft, moon flow all the way up on the inhale, all the way back on the exhale. Just doing a couple more of these. Just really flushing through the spine. Every vertebra being used softly, steadily, in sequence. We're not jerking through the spine, but really encouraging that soft flow of the element of water, which is whenever we kind of come to the cusp of change, you know, birth and death, the element of water, it's like the amniotic fluid for the next element. Tucking the toes, coming up into downward facing dog, stepping forward with whichever leg you need to come back to face the long edge of the mat. So we're already down, the legs a good leg length apart, having the toes facing towards the front edge of the mat. Come onto your knuckles or onto your fingertips. If the mat seems quite far away, wiggle the legs a little bit further away. They want to be a good leg length and it feels comfortable. So shoulder blades down the back. Notice if they've slid up. And if you take your head from side to side, your shoulders are kind of knocking into it. Down the back. From here, press into the feet, lift the sit bones, look up, come into a nice wide leg half lift. So we're finding length. Lovely. And then as we exhale, really engaging bandha, we're going to start to draw the chest back towards the thighs and walk the hands back a little bit. So ideally, it's foot, hand, hand, foot. But if you're really tight, it may be foot and then a little bit in front, hands, hands, and then a little bit behind foot. So once you feel really comfortable, tucking in the chin, finding length in the whole of the spine, engaging your bandhas, allowing the spine to lengthen and to loosen, almost just finding that softening. Nice breath in, nice breath out. Popping the hands out, popping the left hand under the face, navel hugging back towards the spine. Inhale, lifting up through elbow, wrist, palm of the right hand, gaze up. Exhale, popping that down. We're going to do the same on the other side. Navel hugs back, inhale, left arm, elbow, wrist, palm, gazes up. Exhale, popping it down. One more each side. Inhaling, feeling the stretch on the inside of the left leg. Exhale, popping the hand down. And over to the other side. Inhaling, opening all the way up and popping that hand down. From here, just softening at the knees. As you exhale, pop the hands onto the hips. Inhaling, coming all the way up and back into horse stance. Inhaling, scooping the hands up. Exhale, bringing them down. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. And again, inhaling. Exhale. Left hand coming to rest on the thigh. Nice circle as you move that right hand round and back. And again, inhale. Exhale. Change hands. Inhale, scooping over and round to the right and back on the exhale. Inhale. Moving the body as much as you need. Exhale. So from here, turning towards the right side, we're going to come into revolved triangle now. So the right foot is pointing forward, stepping the left foot 2/3 or so of the leg length apart, but maybe a little bit out. Now, some of you have a block or a brick. Feel free to use them. If you don't have these at home, then you can just use your leg or the floor as you need. So we're going to set ourselves up, making sure the hips feel nice and balanced. We're really leaning into that back foot just as before we did the pyramid posture. Inhaling, reaching up with the left hand. Exhale, coming down halfway. Keep drawing this right hip back. You can have the hand on the hip crease. And then choose if the hand's coming to the inside of the leg, if the hand's coming up onto the shin, which is quite a nice one if you feel you need a bit more height, or down to the outside of the leg. Spend a moment to really draw that right hip back, lengthen into the crown of the head so the spine feels a little straighter, and then engage bandha and rotate at the waist so the gaze is going round to the right. You can stay there and breathe or unfold the right arm, elbow, wrist, palm, really drawing nice kind of strength and activity into that back leg. Tuck up with the kneecap, fire up that quad to really help anchor you, finding space and length as you breathe. Following the flow, the ebb and flow of the breath, all the way in, all the way out, all the way in. Seeing if there's a rigidity there. Can you soften and find more of a fluid kind of approach to this posture, which is quite challenging. And then just pop the hand down, either side of the front foot, bend into the knee, inhaling, coming all the way up. And we're just going to turn and do exactly the same to the other side. So adjusting the feet, squaring the hips, reaching forward with the right arm. We've got the left hand in front and the left hand's on the hip. So we're reaching forward and then just coming down to a tabletop and choosing where that right hand is going to go. Floor on the inside, up on the shin, floor to the outside. Lengthen the left hip away, find length to the crown of the head, engage your bladder, and then we're just rotating at the waist. Just the waist that turns round to that left side. Choosing if you're going to leave the left hand on the hip, if you feel the left hip's kind of skewing round and it needs a little bit more guidance and support, or if it's okay to open up, elbow, wrist, palm, taking the gaze to the side or up towards the hand, whatever feels more comfortable. So breathing with that, nice long deep breath all the way in, finding a little bit of spaciousness as you breathe into the tension. And then as you exhale, just softening. So where is that quality of water in this posture? So we can really nourish the roots, nourish the rising energy of spring. Lovely. And then pop the hands down into a little flat, wiggle the back foot away, and get the words right, come back into plank. So we're just going to hold plank for 3 slow breaths. Pop the knees down if you need. Breathing in and breathing out. Really engage bladder, shoulder blades down the back. You micro bend in the elbows. You tuck the elbows in behind the wrists. Tucking the tail, stretching into the heels as you lengthen into the crown of the head. So you feel the whole of the back, whole of the spine, getting real support from the soft front of the body and from your alignment. Lovely. Exhaling, popping the knees down, coming back into child's pose. And then from here, resting in child's pose, or if you feel that you'd like to move, just a slow easing on the inhale into up dog, rolling those shoulders back so you feel open across the chest. Exhale, ebbing back into child's pose. So go with the ebb and flow of moon flow, or just breathe into the back in child's pose, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then just making your way into downward dog once again. Lifting the knees, stretching back into the feet, breathing into the spine, and just softening off the elbows, softening off the shoulders, softening the knees and the hips, so the sit bones can really stretch further away from the hands. Stretching away into the heels, stretching away into the sit bones. And if you need to bend your knees so the sit bones can stretch even further and find a bit more space, please do. Please do. And then looking towards the hands, stepping forward with one leg, whichever leg, you're going to need to step forward so you end up facing me back in horse stance. Inhaling, scooping the hands up, exhaling, coming down, hands in front of the chest. So we're going to lean into that left leg. Inhale, turn to look along the right. Exhale, trace down towards the foot. Inhale, come up the inside, and exhale, come back into horse stance. Inhale, lean into the right leg, straighten the left, coming down as far as feels comfortable for your body. Inhale, coming all the way back up, and exhale back into horse stance. So let's do that one more time. So remembering that we're tracing down the outside of the leg is the gallbladder meridian, finishes in the 4th toe. Then we come from between the big toe up the side of the shin, up the side of the thigh, up the ribs, and our finishes here on the body, and back into horse stance. Last one. Inhale, turning to the left. Exhale, tracing all the way down. Inhale, coming all the way up, and exhale back into horse stance. So from here, coming into warrior 2, bending into that right knee, angling that back heel away, and have the chest as best you can facing me, extending into the arms, but keeping it soft in the shoulders. So the shoulder blades are really down the back and feeling rooted. Deepen down if you wish to go deeper. You can imagine that you're starting to wiggle the feet a little bit further away, or even stretch the mat between the feet. But make sure this knee is always above the ankle. If the knee's dropped in a little bit, lift the toes, Draw the knee back, pop the toes back down. So the gaze is to the middle finger of the front arm. We're feeling evenly balanced between the legs, between the arms. And as we breathe in, that rear arm slides down the back leg. We're going to keep the legs pretty constant. We don't straighten this front leg. We keep it at that nice right angle. And as we exhale, the hand comes on the heart and the rear arm comes under and up. Lovely. Looking up to the inside elbow. Wonderful. Exhale, coming back. Warrior two. We'll do the same again. Inhaling. Keep bending into that front knee. Don't straighten the front leg. Exhale. Hand comes onto the heart. Rear arm comes under and up. So from here, we're rotating at the waist. Navel engaged. We're taking the gaze to the inside elbow, but then rolling the eyes up, not lifting the chin. Rolling the eyes only up to the palm. Breathing with that. Nice, slow, deep breath. Wonderful. And then from here, we're just going to go to same on the other side. So bending into now that left knee, anchoring the outer edge of the right. Body still as best we can, facing the long edge of the mat. Gaze to the middle finger of the left hand. Breathing with that. Nice, soft ebb and flow of the breath all the way in. All the way out. Have you got the courage to go a little deeper? Breathing all the way in. All the way out. Lovely. So on the next inhale, right hand is sliding down the back leg and we lift that left arm up, feeling the stretch on the side of the ribs. Exhale, we're going to pop the hand onto the heart and the rear arm come under and up as if we're moving through deep water. Lovely. Exhale, coming back into warrior two. Inhale, moving up. Exhale, nice and strong through the core of the work we've been doing, and then kind of draping as if you're kind of gently swishing the hand through water, and the fingertips are dripping as it comes out. Gaze to the inner elbow, rolling the eyes up to the downturned palm, breathing with that, just finding the stretch, rotating the chest a little bit more so you can really open into this side, right side of the body for the gallbladder meridian. Lovely. Popping a hand down, either side the front foot, slide that front foot back, and then just holding plank, breathing into that nice, slow, deep breath. Wonderful. Popping the knees down, exhale, back into child's pose. Nice, slow movement all the way up and into upward dog. Exhale, coming all the way back. Wonderful. One more. Inhaling. Exhaling. So we're going to come from here into downward dog. Pop the feet together for dancing warrior. And you can do this on all fours if you feel that you prefer to, but keep the feet at hip width apart. So gaze towards the toes, heels lifted. If you're on all fours, you're just on all fours, okay? So we're going to start with the left leg. Just take that left leg up nice and high, pointing to the toe, and then pop it down on the mat. Same with the other side now. Inhale, lifting the right leg nice and high, nice and straight, and then pop it down on the mat. Lifting the left leg again. Bend the knee, flex the foot, take the knee a little higher. Wonderful. And then step that foot between the hands. Wiggle the back foot away, pop that back knee down. Pop the left hand onto the knee, and then as the hips come forward and down, just drape again through that deep water, the right arm all the way up. So we're coming into moon posture. We practice this a lot in winter. Inhale, taking the left arm up now. So we're feeling stretched and open through the front of the body, the kidney meridian. Lovely. Exhale, we're hinging at the hips, the hands coming down either side. We're peeling the toes of the left foot up towards the shin as we draw the chest down towards the shin, breathing into that stretch of the back line of the body. Let's do that again. So exhale, foot down, knee forward. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Feeling that opening through the front of the body. Exhale, hands down, hinging back into hurdler stretch. Toes drawn back to the shin as the navel hugs back towards the spine and we fold towards our leg. Lovely. Bending into the front knee, we're going to pop the left hand to the outside of the front foot and then tuck the back toe, lift the knee and angle and anchor that back right foot. So option one is to stay here and pop that right hand on the hip. Option 2, elbow, wrist, palm, opening all the way up, deepening into side angle stretch, but a little deeper. Breathing with that. Nice and soft in the jaw, soft in the shoulders, engaged in bandha. Lovely. Popping the hand down, popping the knee back down, and coming up ready for the revolved posture. So, option 1, you're reaching up with that right hand. And as we exhale, so first of all, we want to feel that real length. We're feeling rooted and found through the knees, really rooted and grounded, and get the right words out, through the feet, through the knee. But then from there, we're finding the stretch as the right hand comes across. Exhale. This is where we come into the opposing forces. It's really great for helping fire on the core, which we know is associated with the earth element. So as we have that push-pull, we're really engaged bandha, lengthen into the crown, and as we exhale, we look round. Other option, lead with the elbow, same thing, push-pull against the knee, against the elbow, stacking the elbows and hands in a nice vertical line. And then if you wish, you can tuck that back right foot under and lift the knee, really finding length in the spine, really finding space as you push against the leg, and take the gaze round and behind. Breathe with that. Lovely. And then from there, exhale, pop the hand down, slide that front foot back, come back into downward dog. We're just going to do the same again, all fours, okay? So this time, take the right leg up, bend the knee, flex the foot, lift the knee, then step it forward between the hands, wiggling that back foot away, pop the knee down. Right hand on the knee, checking the knee is in line with the ankle. You haven't got it forward of that. Inhale, moving the hand all the way up. And then next inhale, we're going to take the right hand all the way up, coming into moon posture. Choose if you want the back foot tucked or untucked. What feels more comfortable. And then as we exhale, we're going to pop the hands down, hinge that hip back, peel the foot up, draw the chest towards the shin. Lovely. Peel the foot back down, hip slide forward, bend into the knee. Inhale, opening all the way up. And exhale, hands come down. Inhale as we stretch into hurdlers. Peeling the toes in, getting that stretch in the calf as well as into the hamstrings and groin. And then from here, coming once more forward and up into moon posture. So this is where we come into side angle stretch. We pop the right hand down to the outside of the foot. If you have access to a brick or a block, you're very welcome to use your brick. And then tuck the left foot, lift the knee, and angle and anchor that foot down. Now, if it's too deep, with the hand on the floor, please come up and be resting the hand up on the knee, okay? But if you can, let's go for this deeper stretch. So choosing if it's left hand on the hip, or if as you rotate navel to spine and rotate it away, you're opening up that left arm. Breathe with this. So the shoulders are down the back. You're really strong in the core, strong in the legs, strong in the hips. Are you really able to support that? We're not kind of really kind of heavily down into the earth. We can almost lift this hand off. You know, breathing with that. Lovely. And then hands come down, pop the knee down, lift yourself up for the revolved version. So reaching across with the left hand on the inhale, lengthening, exhale, coming into really firing up the core. Is it the hand to the outside of the knee? Or is it to the elbow? You choose. And actually, sometimes one side is good one way, but the other side needs a bit more care and attention, or conversely, you can go deeper. So tune into what feels right. And again, there's always the option to tuck that back foot, lift the back knee, but don't sink down. Don't sink down if you're kind of doing the elbow version. Really press the elbow to find length in the spine. Navel hugs back, rotating at the waist, gaze goes up and behind. Breathe into that right glute. Breathe into where you feel the stretch. Soften in the face. Lovely. Exhale, pop the hands down, slide that front foot back, pop the knees down, come into a nice, easy, well-deserved upward dog, stretching through the hips. Wonderful. And then from here, tucking the toes and into downward dog. So just to let you know, we're going to come into pigeon. And if, what's the word? If you know that pigeon from downward dog doesn't suit you, but you're fine with dead pigeon, then come to lie on your back and do dead pigeon. What I'll do is I'll just show you dead pigeon now. So if you're on all fours in downward dog, you're welcome to continue to downward dog. Or you might, as I'm doing, come onto your knees and take on some water. So essentially what we're doing with pigeon is we're stretching into the hip, especially into the piriformis muscle, which is great. You know, what can happen is if the piriformis is tight, you can get sciatic issues, and often sciatic issues is a postural issue. If you get sat at a desk that doesn't quite suit you, the seat doesn't quite suit you, and also it depends on what's happening in your pelvis, but sometimes it can be because you're very tense. You're kind of, I want to get this done. It's quite live up, like, I need to get this done by this, and I'm not very flexible, and I need it done exactly this way, and da, 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 da. So the pigeon is a great stretch for spring. So if you're in dead pigeon, the knees are bent, you take one leg, here I've got my left, and I rest the outer ankle bone just on that above the knee. So this is the first option. I'm going to relax all of that left leg. If that feels okay, I then lift the right leg. And again, I notice as soon as I do stretch, that starts to kind of bring me up a little bit here, I know I've gone too far. This for me, for this hip, today feels fine. Next option is to take the hands behind the thigh. The option after that is to take the hands in front of the shin. And immediately it's like, that's a bit too much for me today. This feels better. This feels better. Okay, so this is dead pigeon. If you are pigeon from downward dog, then come up into downward dog, dancing warrior downward dog. So the feet are together, the heels are lifted, and you're looking to the toes. So let's go with that left side, taking the left leg up, bend the knee, flex the foot, lift the knees if you're piddling up at the lamp post, doggy. Like just giving it a right good piddle, lovely. And then what we're going to do is slowly bring that left knee towards the left hand. Notice, especially in your leg, it might be the shin is at a diagonal, so that the left foot is in line with the right hand, but definitely not at the right hand. Mine is a clear, strong, sharp diagonal, almost 45 degrees, 40 degrees. From here, we're going to tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, wiggle that back leg away so we feel the hips go back. And essentially, you want to take the hips far enough back that the hands can come, little kind of suction cup, mangrove root hands, either side, and feel really comfortable, as if you could actually let go and not have the hands on the mat, okay? If you're feeling really forward, it's because actually you are forward, and you need to tuck the back toe, lift the knee, and wiggle the back leg away a little bit more. So from feeling rooted, allow the hips and this right hip to soften down. If you have a little cushion to hand, or you fancy getting a cushion or grabbing your blanket might be folded by you, you can pop it here over this left foot underneath this right hip. So when we come down, you've got something to soften over, and it can be really quite delicious and very transformative experience. So here I've got my beautiful color coordinated chartreuse cushion. I'm just going to shove that in there, and then from here lengthening up, just allow myself to come down onto my forearms, shoulders down the back, nice and relaxed. Now, this might be deep enough a stretch. Another option is to take the weight of the head into the heels of the hands, or further from that, just to lengthen the body down so the head rests down on the mat and the arms lengthen out in front. So finding the pigeon that really suits you this evening. Breathing into the left hip, breathing into the right hip flexor, just finding that real sense of release, of softening. So if you're finding this okay, you'd like to go a little deeper, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, wiggle the foot just a centimetre away, pop the knee back down, unfold your foot, rest the foot down, breathing with that, all the way in, all the way out, nice and relaxed in the back of the neck, let go of the shoulders, breathing into the whole of the back of the body, and breathing into that left hip. Lovely. And so from here, we're just going to come straight to the other side. So let's bring the hands back, lifting back up. Take the wee cushion if you've got one, just out. Tuck the back toe. You might actually need to walk the knee in a little bit just to feel a bit more connected. And then we're just going to take that left leg all the way back up and give it a good old stretch.
Ooh. And if you're in dead pigeon, you can just change sides now. So otherwise, if you're in downward dog, dancing warrior, feet together. Now let's take that right leg up. Nice stretch, bend the knee, flex the foot, lift the knee up a little bit, get a stretch into the groin, all of the muscles in the inner thigh. And we're just going to carefully, with control, bring that right knee towards the right hand. Make sure it's at an angle across the mat. Any discomfort, sharp pain or anything in the knee, then the angle is wrong for your body. And it may be the dead pigeon actually tonight is just a much better option. So you don't want to feel any sharp pain in the knee, in the hip. So from here, we're going to tuck the back toe, lift the knee, wiggle the back foot away, slide the hips back a little bit so we can come up and feel quite steady and sturdy in pigeon. Pop the cushion underneath the hip. If you've got one to hand over, if you don't, we're just going to come down, not for a huge amount of time, and then relax down. Now, this hip may be quantifiably tighter, more open than the other one. And so just check in and notice that, and please don't do any kind of little story of what should be, because actually this is about loving what is. So we're just going to allow the hips to soften down a little bit, allow the head to feel supported. It might be held in the hands or just coming down to rest on the mat. And again, to go deeper, once you've been in the posture for a little while, you can tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, wiggle the leg a little bit further away, and then relax it all back down again. So breathing with that, breathing into the right hip, making sure the shoulders feel relaxed, the back of the neck, nice long breath in, nice long breath out. Welcoming in a softness, almost like a little surrender, letting go. And then from here, just popping the hands towards the shoulders, lifting the head. And again, if you need to bring the extended leg kind of further up the mat for that to feel comfortable, please do. So from here, we're just going to take that right leg all the way up. Just give it a good old stretch out. Exhale, come down to downward dog. And if you're in dead pigeon, you're very welcome to come to all fours now. And just allow the hips to get a delicious stretch in upward dog. Lengthening up into the crown of the head. From here, just come back to lie on your backs. Hug your knees and rock from side to side. So, if you've got your pillow handy, or you've got one that you can just bring it, because we're just going to come into a couple of poses that you may wish to use it. Okay. No biggie if you don't. It's totally fine either way. So first of all, we're going to come into a little flowing bridge. Feet as close into the hips as possible. Toes pointing straight ahead. Arms by the sides. So first of all, we'll just tuck and untuck the tailbone. As we tuck, we're going to engage bladder. And as we untuck, we'll just allow ourselves to feel a little bit of space in the lower back. And once we've done that a couple of times, as we tuck, we're going to press into the feet and roll up through the spine, making sure the back of the neck's nice and long. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, steadily flow all the way down the spine. Pop the soles of the feet back down. We'll just do a couple more in your own time. So you're rolling up vertebra by vertebra as you breathe in, and as you exhale, you're rolling vertebra by vertebra all the way down, using your core so it's nice and steady and controlled, but thinking of that fluidity, that lovely flushing through of the fluid around the spine, feeding the fluid around the spine and the brain, and popping the soles of the feet back down. And then from here, if you've got your cushion handy, you can lift your hips and pop it underneath. We're just going to take the soles of the feet together, the knees ease out to the side into reclining Baddha Konasana. So notice where the cushion is. It wants to feel comfortable, not that it's kind of crunching you into more of a back bend, that if anything you feel like you might need to take it towards the sacrum rather than up towards my waist. Now I've got a huge cushion. It's kind of like kind of a Rambo velvet cushion. So mine needs to be a bit further down, okay? If you've got something more compact, then that might be more useful. So we're just going to spend a few breaths here, opening into the inner thighs, allowing all of this beautiful bowl of the pelvis, of the hips,
Just get a nice opening and stretch. And the breath flowing all the way in and all the way out. We're just going to allow ourselves to let go and to soften. So coming into a more winter-like yin type finishing, this water element of going a little deeper, of retreating within, and just bringing to mind what really sums up or is the essence of springtime for you. And you can imagine yourself being filled with that wonderful energy that can flow very easily to wherever it's needed. Lovely. And then just drawing the knees back together. We're just going to pop the cushion to one side and then come into a little twist. So crossing the left leg over the right, lifting the hips a few inches to the left. And if you like, you can come into twisted vine where you tuck the toe around the calf of this left leg. If it's enough just to cross the leg, that's fine. Then we're going to allow the knees to fall to the right, and you can either cup the knees or have with the hand, or have the hand outside of the thigh, just encouraging the legs further over that way. We want to keep this left shoulder on the mat, so we're going to extend the left arm out and turn the gaze along the arm. If you're short of space, this arm can be like a little cactus arm. Once you've got it set up, you can just close the eyes and breathe and surrender to this beautiful spiraling or unwinding of this spiral of fluidity around the body. And know that the myofascial lines, as it were, how fascia and connective tissue flows around the body is pretty much like rivers. Connective tissue is filled with fluid and it's infinitely elastic, which means it can come back together. And it's this wonderful tensile fluid structure that supports the whole body. And information from the nerves flows very freely through it. So we can just surrender into that water element of ourselves. Nice long breath in, relaxing the forehead, relaxing the jaw, nice long breath out. Lovely. So from here, we're just going to roll back onto the back, untwist vine our legs, untwist our legs, adjust ourselves so we're straight once again in the spine. Take the hips over to the right, cross the right leg over. Your choice if you want to tuck the foot behind that left calf. The knees roll to the left, the gaze and the arm extending right. And then once you're set up, just allow yourself to really soften. Really soothe yourself with the ebb and flow of the breath. All the way in, all the way out. Nice long exhale, all the way in. And all the way out. Almost as if the ebb and flow of the breath is like the ebb and flow of the tide. And we're just arriving on that shoreline that is home. This day may have involved quite a journey away from feeling at home, or from feeling really at home in yourself. And so just inviting that sense of homecoming, inviting that sense of arrival and welcome into the whole body as you surrender into this wonderful twisting vine. Lovely. And then from here, we're just going to untwist ourselves, get ourselves set up for relaxation. Now, I'm going to just come and do a time check because we started late, and I know that it's now, the end of class officially. Apologies. If you need to leave, I totally get that. I don't want to steal any time away from you. And actually, I stole quite a lot at the beginning with my chit chat. If you'd like to stay, you are more than welcome. And we're going to do a wonderful water in woods nidra that I have been crafting with my little green needle of grass, weaving into a little lattice of comfort and joy for us all. So feel free to go. I'm not offended. Feel free to stay. So getting yourself cozy and supported, and inviting in, inviting in a sense of acknowledgement, like you've made it to the shore of coming home. Popping on blankets, wedging yourself over cushions so you feel really comfy, or even, dare I say it, finding yourself on the sofa or the bed, depending on which room you're currently in. And with that, taking a little bit of time to get yourself really comfy, as I am. Just going to put the top on. Maybe adjusting the lighting in the room. And then from here, closing the eyes. It's been a rainy day here in Glasgow. Soft raindrops falling on luscious green leaves of every size, every shape and texture that you can imagine. Raindrops almost like music, as all of nature is tuning up, tuning together to welcome in the symphony of summertime. And as we nestle down on the cusp of early summer, just inviting the body to really relax and feel comfy. And you've been there a little while now, so if there's any adjustment you need to make to feel even comfier, please go ahead and make that adjustment for yourself. And then turning the awareness to the soft movement of the breath in and out. Where does the breath originate? Is it the navel? Is it the toes? Some of you might be thinking, oh, Lucy, of course it's the nose. But others might be a little bit open and think, my goodness, you are right. And so we're going to invite that wonderful energy of springtime to flow all around the body as if it's the most natural and easy thing. As if with every breath that we take of this oxygen-rich air filled with the gift from all of these newly greened trees, like the rustling or the shaking of feathers of a giant flock of birds. Trees on the hillside are just waiting, offering their gift before they take off in some amazing migration over the fields and far away. And so let this nidra be one of a little bit of a flight of fancy. And I want you to imagine and to bring to mind and to bring to heart something that really sums up springtime for you. What might that be? What colour, texture, sound, fragrance, taste? What might that be like? And we're essentially going to invite the awareness to flow around the body to nurture and nourish us, just as the element of water nourishes and nurtures every living thing. And yet, water can never disappear. The amount of water here on Earth is the amount of water here on Earth when the dinosaurs roamed the land. So it is ancient, and it has seen many things. And so you may even wish that element of spring that could flow easily and naturally around the body to have with it a deep wisdom, like the very marrow of your bones. So we're going to invite that wonderful awareness in at the toes. Let's start with the little tendrils, the little rootlets of the feet. And imagine that it's just starting to flow in through the big toes, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth toes. Through the soles of the feet into the heels, almost pooling in the heels, coming up into the ankles and flowing steadily and quite easily, surprisingly, up into the shins and the calves till it finds the knees. And it brings a cooling, calming to the knees, our poor knees. And from there it begins to unfurl upwards. Is it water, or actually could it be just the beginning of new growth and springtime itself, coming up the thighs into the bowl of the pelvis, into the hips, left and right, and into the center of the pelvis behind the pubic bone. This essence of spring washing us clean, bringing with it so much energy and new life and possibility. And here it is in the wonderful cradle of creation, our pelvis. From there, it starts to make its way up towards the warmth of the navel. But from the warmth of the navel, it starts to spread into the heart and out into the left side of the chest and into the right side of the chest. Comes back into the heart. As if the energy of spring could actually be each of our hopes, our dreams. For some of us, that can be quite hard to connect with at this time, and yet here they are, here it is, flowing through our veins, flowing so easily around the body. It's filling us up. So coming from the heart, warmed by the heart fire of love. Coming up across the delta of the chest, the lymphatic system, and up to the soft space in between the collarbones, that little basin. So that all of the words, all of the songs we might sing are infused with creativity and joy and love. And oh look, it's spreading outwards again. Tendrils wrapping around over and over each of the collarbones, to the edges of the collarbones and into the shoulders, left and right, right and left. And with a joy verging on exuberance, extending down each of the arms, all the way into the elbows, soft, fluid, welcome, safe. Going down from the elbows all the way down into the wrists and pooling in the palms of each hand. The essence of spring, the essence of our dreams, our hopes, filling us up right here and now. So that as we are on the cusp of early summer, we have this clarity that will bring us into a time of connection and peak energy. And we're just experiencing that into the thumbs and into the tips of each of the fingers in turn, unfurling, almost flower-like, like new leaves, a greenness and whiteness. The scent of almonds, the scent of flowering currants, all of these wonderful spring experiences. Or actually, is it the sound of birdsong? I'm not quite sure. Maybe you know. And also unfurling from the pit of the throat up the throat itself into the jaw, into the gate of the jaw and up into the whole of the head, so that the face is the most beautiful it's ever been. Filled with the essence of springtime, filled with that loving connection with our hopes and our dreams, filled with that sense of possibility that we are the whole of the head, both sides of the head, the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the cheeks, the nose, the ears, the lips, the chin, the throat, pit of the throat, the fingertips to the wrists, to the elbows, to the shoulders, into the delta of the chest itself, down into the heart, the left and right sides of the chest, down to the navel, the bowl of the pelvis, the hips, the legs, the knees, the shins, the calf muscles, the ankles, soles of the feet, tops of the feet, big toes, all of the other toes. Brimming. And as if, like a little piece of flotsam or jetsam, we arrive very calmly and safely home, filled with a sense of ourself, filled with that sense of ourself that is unique and precious and lovable. So almost like a coconut that has floated mile upon nautical mile across the ocean to knock up against some soft sand of a little island. We arrive home. And just like a coconut is filled with nourishment, so too are we, shored up for the next wee while, filled with a sense of possibility in ourselves that is about flourishing, is about acknowledging and loving. And so at this moment, if you wish, you're very welcome to bring to mind and to heart the affirmation for yourself. Some kind of resolve to help you negotiate the choppy waters of the coming days. And then inviting movement just to come
into the edges of your body, into the fingertips and into the toes, maybe into the feet and into the hands. Maybe turning the head steadily and slowly from one side and over to the other. And then delighting in a wonderful, expansive stretch, like it's the first stretch you've ever done. And my goodness, what an experience that is. So as we start to find our way to a more alert state, stretching into the toes, into the fingertips, into the heels, and then hugging the knees and rocking from side to side. Just finding yourself resting on a comfortable side. And then making your way up to a seated position to finish.